Well, I'm out sick today, and I figured might as well capitalize on the time and make a video here. Thought I'd update you on my quail experience. Years ago I made a big old quail cage. It was for outdoors. Had a little roll-out tray thing for the eggs. I'd noticed that they didn't roll out consistently sometimes, and the issue was being outside. I had a bunch of trouble with rats. They'd actually crawl up in there and kill my quail. I also had way too many quail for me. It was fun, but I was getting like 15 eggs a day, and I didn't need that many. I wasn't selling them quick either. So I decided to move them into the garage, considering I felt bad for them out there in the freezing cold. They didn't die on me, but I figured it'd be a little more comfortable in the garage. I could interact with them more. I can actually let them out, and they'll run around the garage while I'm working on stuff, and so that's kind of fun. You interact with them a little more. I didn't want to take up space in the garage, so what I did is I wall mounted the cage, and you can kind of see I'm able to have tooling and storage underneath, and the little poop trays keep anything from getting on the tooling. But yeah, it's been fun having this quail cage is about 4 feet wide, not quite 2 feet to the wall. It's about 20 inches, and these beams, the support beams, are 12 inches. So with the thickness of the wood and the tray, it's a little over. It's probably 14, 15 inches. But I'll take you a little closer and show you some of the design features. So these little trays, I'll probably put knobs on them, but they just slide out. And then I use this cheap plywood again, but I have this. There's a water-based, like a polyurethane varnish. It's called like thick polyurethane. It's meant to. One coat is like 3 or 4 coats of a typical polyurethane, so I just smeared a whole ton of that all over this to kind of protect it. And yeah, it's really convenient. You got 2 of those, and then the doors, simple little latch, cheap hinges that were a couple bucks each. And the other nice little feature is I can throw an insert in the middle here and separate out the quail. Right now I just have the girl and the boy, and unfortunately usually have 3 or 4 as a minimum, 3 or 4 hens per male as a minimum, up to 8. With just one in there, he's kind of, just a little too often. We'll just say that. So I put a divider in there every now and then just to give her a break for a few days. But pretty simple construction. You can kind of see these are all 1x2s. So I basically made frames. Like this side is just, one piece going down, and then 2 pieces, going across, top and bottom. Just made a square frame. Same thing for the front. Made a big square frame. And on the top, I kind of just added, on this square frame here, I added one going as an L out that way. Same thing on these ones. That way I'd have sort of a square frame for the top. So pretty simple construction. And then this time I decided to staple everything to the outside just to make my life easier, and I don't think it looks half bad. So this can be done with a single 2x4 sheet of, I think OSB, I think that's what they call it. But they sell it 2x4 sheets at Home Depot for like $6-7. And then, if you buy 8 or 10 1x2s, I'd probably go with 10 just to be safe. And those are $1 each, so $10, $6, $17 in wood. I think I used, if you can find a roll of 10 square feet, I think we're good. So you basically need 2x4 feet for the top and bottom. So that's what, 8 linear feet. And then, this is less than 2 feet, so that's another linear foot if you go vertical. Another 4. So yeah, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you're at 15, if you can get 15 linear feet, that's 2x15 foot section of hardware cloth, you're pretty set. They sell it in 5-foot lengths for $6, and then up to 25-foot lengths for like 20 something. I bought one of the bigger sections because I'm going to build some other stuff. But yeah, under $50 and you got a really nice big cage. Pretty cool little thing. And then on the bottom, just to show you, I put supports, every foot or so of the 1x2 across, just to support the mesh, because it's not super heavy gauge, so it'll sag on you if you don't do that. Food dishes, pretty simple. You can get the traditional chick feeder style. I just happen to have these little Tupperware containers you can get at the dollar store, drill a couple holes, and saves you on the food, and that'll probably be upgraded later. But I put a couple of you know, food and water options just so when I separate them, it's already ready to go. So there you go. There's quail keeping in your garage, and it doesn't stink. Like, I mean, you can see there's a ton of poop, and I'm standing right here. Granted, I'm sick right now, but I can't smell this. It does not make the garage stink or anything like that. So it's yeah, I'm sure if you had like 40 birds or something, yeah. But I'm only going to have probably 4 or 5, and it's pretty good to go at that point. I figured it might be fun to show you a little bit about the eggs here. Coturnix quail, in case you don't know, they're really prolific layers, about 300 eggs a year, which is more than chickens. You know, quite a bit smaller, obviously. Here's a jumbo chicken egg. You know, this one's huge, so it's kind of an unfair comparison, but it takes about 4 or 5 quail eggs to make a chicken egg. But you can hard boil these things in like 3 or 4 minutes, and then, you know, just cool them in cool water with ice for, you know, a few minutes, and then start peeling them. Make kind of cool little hors d'oeuvres. I like pan frying them better because it's just so much quicker, less tedious. So you get like a 1/4 inch of oil heated up. These little scissors make your life a lot easier rather than trying to crack these. They're kind of a pain to crack. So these little scissors, you just get the round end up in there, and boom, you're all set. You got a little yolk there. The yolk is quite a bit bigger compared to the white than a standard like chicken egg. This oil is probably too hot. It's kind of smoking, but you just drop it on in. Yeah, it's a little hot, but you can kind of shovel it over the top to help the top cook, or you just wait a few seconds and flip it. Yeah, that one didn't turn out too great, but I did another one a second ago just before I got on screen here. That one turned out a lot better. So, you know, pretty simple, and they cook like ridiculously fast. That one's fine. So there you go. You got a couple of eggs in 2 seconds. Another thing you can do is they're really easy to poach. So right over here, I've got some boiling water. Let's see. There we go. Got you in shot. Probably dial back the boil just a smidge. And I put a little bit of vinegar. It doesn't really matter what type, but I just put a splash of vinegar in there, and that's supposed to keep the white from kind of dispersing in the water. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to crack the egg into a little bowl. Let's see here. So I cut the top off, dropped it in a bowl. So there you go. You got your little egg, and then you get down close to the water and just drop it in, and kind of let it do its thing for a minute or so, tops 2 minutes. And you can kind of test it after you know, 30 seconds by swishing the water around. If it seems really kind of loosey-goosey, then, you know, wait a little bit longer. But you can kind of see it's whitening up pretty quick. I'll go ahead and just move it around, make sure it's not sticking. But you get a feel for it. I mean, it's literally just a minute or so. And, you know, a true poached egg, they're pretty dang runny. I kind of like it a little less runny. So, yeah, this is probably good right here. So there you go, look at that. Nicely poached egg. You can kind of see how it's jiggling. It should be soft. And it should be a little gooey on the inside. One fun thing to do with these is just plop it on a little, you know, toast some bread. Plop it on a little toast. And you've got a cool little snack, salt and pepper. And you're good to go. I'll see if I can, yeah, there you go. So this isn't even a classic poached egg. It's kind of not very runny. Just maybe a little bit runny. But yeah, there you go. Simple ways to do some snacks in, you know, a couple seconds.